What is going on, you guys? It's your boy, Average Bob, and welcome to Week 15 of the NFL season. In today's video, we're going to touch on some updates across Giants Nation, a little bit of a preview for the upcoming Sunday afternoon matchup in New Jersey, featuring our New York Football Giants and the Washington Commanders. Let's get started talking about this one. The Giants sitting at 2-11 versus the Commanders at 3-10. The Giants actually are 2.5-point favorites in this one, which is very interesting considering they've really have only won 2 games this season, and I don't know if they really have been favored in any. I feel like they've been underdogs in pretty much every game. So the reason that is because of the backup quarterback situation transpiring for Washington, where Jayden Daniels is out and Marcus Mariota is in. Jayden Daniels had that horrific elbow injury a couple weeks ago, and I thought he was going to be done for the season. I was watching the game, and I was like, oh my God, like real grimace, like of watching that play live. His elbow literally went inside out, and I thought it was going to be done for the year. And here's the thing with the Washington Commanders is they don't learn from their history. And I guess just overall history in the NFL does have such a short window to it. But for me, it doesn't feel like it was that long ago where a guy like RG3 was taking the league by storm and got ran into the ground, I believe in his second year, and was never the same after that. So how could you be a part of the organization and not be like, hey, we had this stud rookie of the year quarterback last season, come back, year 2, banged up a little bit. It's not going the way that we want. But let's rush him back in a meaningless now season for them because they've only won 3 games and just sacrifice him to the football gods and whatever happens, happens. I mean, did you not see this play out, Commanders fans, Washington Redskins organization? You saw this exact thing happen. And now you want to do the same thing to Jayden Daniels? It makes no sense to me. And I get it. Football is football. Guys get injured all the time. Look, Jackson Dart doesn't want to change the way he plays. I get it. But you got to learn a little bit from your history, and you got to make changes based on that. Otherwise, you're going to be in the exact same place that you have been and continue to be. And now this is where you got Marcus Mariota starting this weekend, because then in the game last week I didn't watch, but I think they got blanked 31-0 to the Vikings. Daniels, I don't know if he played in that or was hurt in that game or was hurt the game prior. Again, so you got to be smart, and I think some of these guys, football players are the most competitive people on planet Earth. They want to play through injuries, but sometimes it's on the coach, it's on Quinn, it's on Kingsbury to have a discussion with him and say, the season isn't going the way that we want. Let's get you 100% healthy and restart next year. Why risk these injuries, especially to like your elbow? Obviously, it was his non-throwing arm, but is he going to wear a thing like J.J. Watt or one of those other defensive linemen for the rest of his career because he keeps messing it up? Not going to play very long. Recently, too, look in the news. Joe Burrow's kind of like, I'm not having fun. I'm getting my ass kicked every week. Like, I'm elaborating on what he said there, but you mentioned not having fun. Well, if you're taking these shots as a quarterback in a meaningless season, and even if you are playing good and the rest of the team sucks, it's something to just think about, because you're not going to have fun. And I don't think it's good for the brand and the future of football. And I'm not saying injuries don't happen. What I'm saying is you just have to be smart about them. So that was my first opening rant about the Jayden Daniels situation, because I think he's an incredibly talented player. I think we all have, and I think he's similar to Jackson Dart a little bit. Watching him play, I think it was more last season versus the Giants, where I'm like, he's very talented, but he needs to learn how to slide, because I think he got knocked out going for a first down, I forget what it was, but he did get injured going for a first down against the Giants, where it's like, he kind of got to figure out how to slide. Or if you're running out of bounds, get out of bounds a yard before. Don't just stand there and get totally popped, and then, it's not going to lead to your longevity in the league, and then you'll end up being someone like Andrew Luck on the flip side of RG3, right? Full circle there. So to talk about the Giants coming into this one, there's probably been a little bit more context to everything since the Dable firing with the Giants Hard Knocks inside the locker room and in the season show. I haven't watched it yet. I have seen some clips about Kafka just like cursing all the time and people just looking like they don't really care and are kind of checked out. So interesting decision to showcase the inner workings of the Giants organization at such a great level again. Like doing it the Hard Knocks off season a couple years after right after the Saquon situation played out wasn't enough. So yeah, I mean, obviously they were selected to do this and didn't have a choice in the matter, but it's just funny to see their dirty laundry aired so publicly, because this was something that John Mara was able to not allow to happen for so long, was the Giants not being on actual Hard Knocks. They say it's random, but I think he had something to do with saying like, we're not doing, like, there are connections. They have lots of there's too much money involved to say like, hey, we're not going to do that because we don't look a certain way, but by delaying that somehow or putting it off and never doing it, somehow you've looked consistently worse in all the other variations of Hard Knocks, where if you would have just somehow, I think if you would have gotten it done at another point, wouldn't look as bad as the off-season one and the in-season one has looked so far. So for this matchup this weekend, it's really going to be, the Jackson Dart show. How did he do over the bye? Is he healed up? A lot of people getting healed up. Just having some more time off over the bye. He said he wasn't going to do anything besides focus on football. Obviously, love to hear that from your rookie young stud quarterback. But this is why the spread is 2.5. It's just really the Jackson Dart versus Marcus Mariota featured show. And I don't think the Commanders really, their defense has done a very good job, especially if you look at last weekend versus the Vikings. They gave up 31 points to a Vikings team that kind of was down and out and have been memed and all of this stuff. So I'm going to look for the Giants to take advantage of that and put up, 20 plus points. And I'm taking them in this one. Not proud of it. I don't think they deserve it, but I think they win this game. Because here's the thing. It's like everyone was getting excited about the Giants having the first overall pick. And we as Giants fans know with 4 games left in this season, 2 of them, one versus Washington, the other one versus the Raiders, the other one versus the Vikings, and then you finish with Dallas. But those games are winnable, Teams are also in the same boat as the Giants, and they suck. So, and when you have guys that are young rookies that want to put it on tape and care about their aura and swag and whatever, they're going to ball out, and that's what Jackson Dart's got to do for the remainder of the season as long as he's healthy. Because the offensive line is good enough, Tyron Tracy's good enough, Singletary's fine, and then it just comes down to like how good is Wan'Dale Robinson going to play to get more money in his pocket as a result of him being an impending free agent. On some positive news, it was reported Cam Skattebo walked into the Giants facility under his own power less than 2 months after his leg injury, which is awesome. Steps in the right direction, and we need him back, and he's been absolutely a joy to follow on socials. So, got to give him the love and support during this time. He's a funny dude. He's someone you would love to play football with. I'll tell you that right now. Also coming up from a free agent perspective is Jermaine Illuminor. And he's saying and doing all the right things. He's talked about how he's played the best level of his career so far, but he also had something that we all can agree with as fans, and this is what you want to hear in terms of being different year over year. And to Art Stapleton, he said, what a great answer from Jermaine Illuminor on whether this 2-11 season this year for the Giants feels any different than 2-11 last year. He said, yeah, 2-11 sucks, period. It's not the same. It is the same. We're 2-11. Yeah, and your record is what you said. What you are, right? You're 2-11. There is not a good 2-11. as much as I do feel like it is different just having the quarterback change, but I do like the vocal leadership of some of the guys in this room. And then let's see what happens when we pair him with the head coach next year, because a lot's got to be determined then. Pretty quick one today. I didn't really have too much to talk about. I mean, where we're at right now at this point in the season, 4 games left, not much to really root for. I know I'm going to be rooting for them to win. I don't care if it's stupid or not. I hate losing. I'm not a loser. I just never want to see it and cheer it on. It just feels weird and icky, and especially since we've sucked for so long. like one of the worst teams in the NFL probably since the year 2000. If you take away 2 seasons where we won a Super Bowl when we were both like 9-7 or something in those seasons. So yeah, it just feels icky to me losing and people cheering out losing. But I can tell you right now, from a playing perspective, the guys will never tank. They always want to play as well as possible, put it on tape, because if it doesn't work out for them on the team that they're currently on, it's an audition for somewhere else. The rest of the people in the league will have that tape, and it's where they make decisions on for free agency and even bringing guys back. And the only way you could really tank is from a coaching perspective. I think the year that the Eagles did this was against the Giants when the division was terrible. It was when I think the last season for that coach was it Marone. He had won the Super Bowl. I always forget his name. And then a couple seasons later, they fired him, even though they built a stadium with him outside, or built a statue of him outside of the stadium in Lincoln Financial. And that was one where they tanked because they didn't play Hurts in that game, even though he was fine. So that would be the only way. And then the coach was fired after that. So I don't know why he did that, or that had to be an organizational call to say, no, bench him, we want a better pick. But besides that, from a playing perspective, you can't tank. And trust me, the Giants have been playing as hard as they possibly can, and they only win 2 games. So what more evidence do you need than that? Anyway, I like the Giants -2.5 or on the money line this weekend. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks for stopping by. And if you made it this far, I appreciate you, and I hope you're having a strong start to your holiday season. Thanks for watching.